All right, ready first. Lessons learned from the first iteration of Conpany, sticks, and live fire. We've got several things to talk about. I'm going to post this tonight, and hopefully those of you that have yet to go through can take a quick look and kind of get ahead of the game. First, as far as the plan and prep, talk about your assembly area. Remember, if we're not attacking, we're defending. So choose a geometric shape. And remember, a circle is hard to draw on a map, let alone park vehicles in. Make sure that whether it's a straight line, square, triangle, I don't care what it is, pentagon, that you're doing security measures as far as range cards, sector sketches, and your XOs are consolidating it. But you need to get very detailed in your operations order. Tell your platoons exactly what you want to do and then plan on contingencies. Your scheme of maneuver and concept of the operation are great, but what happens when the enemy boats and they change? Somewhere in your tax op or coordinating instructions, I need you to come up with your playbook. So you've heard me say many times, our most basic play in the United States Army is set a base of fire and envelop. You're going to envelop with 2 platoons to the right, 2 platoons to the left, maybe 1 platoon right, one platoon left. Come up with a naming convention, whether it's action right double, or action front, action left double, whatever it is. Come up with something in coordinating instructions or your tax op so that you can adapt to the enemy situation. If not, you spend too much time trying to explain yourself over the net. Look, graphic control measures. Checkpoints and phase lines used to control movement, orient fires. Make sure that you're planning sufficient number in your zone as well as outside your zone, beyond the objective, and around your assembly area. Your terrain model. All the terrain models I've seen thus far are not detailed enough, nor are they large enough for you to actually do a rehearsal on. Let's get back to basics, come up with your terrain model kit, and make sure that they represent the terrain and your graphic control measures so you can ensure success. Priorities of work. Your executive officer gets paid in your assembly area to manage your priorities of work. So when you go down to coordinating instructions and you give your standard priorities of work, whether it's security, communication, assign a time to have that complete, and then make sure that your XO is tracking that by platoon, so that you have, these are my priorities of work, first platoon, second platoon, third platoon by time, and if they don't meet the time standard, then you're going through and getting a report from your XO that it's not complete. There's nothing worse than being at the LD and find out that something that you told your platoons to do was not accomplished, and now you're surprised. Miles rules the battlefield. You need to spend time both in the motor pool and when you get to the assembly area, making sure that you understand the miles and that you can kill with it at range. Communications. JCR communications as well as FM is kicking our butts right now. You need to make sure you got the right load sets, you got the right frequencies, and that you have components on hand to troubleshoot to make sure that you talk. Like, while you're going through the planning process, you have to assign generic rehearsals to do. Tell them to Battle Drill 1 Alpha, Battle Drill 6, CASEVAC, rollover, all those generic rehearsals so that when the platoon leader comes back and you have specific rehearsals that you're going to do based on the mission, that all that other stuff's out of the way. Include it in your priorities of work and track it. Look, the scout, while you're in your planning phase, the battalion scouts and the cavalry troop are out in front of you. They're going to provide you intelligence. What are you going to do with that? How are you going to disseminate that information? How are you going to change your scheme of maneuver and confirm or deny your situational template? If you get all that intelligence and you don't change your plan, well then we've just wasted all of that effort by the scouts to get out there and tell you the most accurate and current information, both found by the shadow, our scouts, echelons above brigade, as well as your Raven. You got to make sure you get your Raven up so that you can provide yourself the intelligence necessary to make decisions on the battlefield. They're also going to come back with friendly and enemy locations. Let's adjust our fires onto the now known enemy locations so that as you attack the objective, you can have accurate, predictive fires. And let's put no fire areas around the scouts that are in front of you so that as you are conducting your forward passage through them, no friendlies get hurt. PCIs. Look, you got to PCI your dismount kits. What is the aid and litter team bringing? Has it been checked? Do they know how to put together the cot? Not the cot, the litter. Can they talk miles and be able to kill at range? Can they communicate at range? All those PCIs, inspecting. But there's pre-combat inspections. We're confusing these. The 240 gunner, making sure that his 240 is properly lubed, that all the action is correct. Those are pre-combat checks. That the RWS works, that the storm can actually function as it properly should. Those are pre-combat checks. And then leaders go down and conduct pre-combat inspections. Let's make sure that we're doing them. All right. Once you've issued your order back in the assembly area, the platoons are going to add graphics and control measures. Make sure that they turn those into your talk, and now you produce consolidated company graphics and disseminate those, both hard copy and JCR. Okay, during, while you're executing, the first thing you're going to do is uncoil from your assembly area. We're having trouble doing this. The easiest way is, if you're in a square or a triangle, is to get your lead platoon out there and set in formation. Once they're set, now the second platoon moves, the third platoon moves, etc. And now you set the battlefield to begin movement. But if everyone starts moving at once, trying to get that thing combobulated while executing is difficult. Just take the extra time. Backwards plan, take the extra time and get it set before you begin moving. Whenever your platoons key the net, I need them to give the frontline trace and their slant. Every time, no matter what they're telling you. Once in the frontline trace, just need to say phase line George or the 90 Northing.